Hi everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today it's all about habaneros, and I know a lot of you grow habaneros. One plant will just yield massive amounts. And at that time of year, what do you do with all of those habaneros? You only have so many friends that could eat habaneros, and giving them one or two might be their capacity. So what I'm going to show you today is how to turn them into a bottled hot sauce that you could keep in your refrigerator for months and months. Makes really good holiday presents for folks that like a lot of spiciness. Okay, so I'm going to work today with these orange habaneros here. I'm going to put them all into a medium saucepan over here. I pulled the stems of them off, and then I'm going to put in here a little bit of carrot. I just split that. You can peel it or not peel it. It doesn't really matter because it's going to get blended up. And what I need to do is to measure the quantity of it here. I'm looking for about a half a cup, and that looks like what that is. And I'm going to match it with a half a cup of onion. White onion is going to go into this as well. But again, it's sort of roughly chopped. You don't, because it's going to get blended here. So we will chop it like that. And that'll probably be about a half a cup there. Let's see if we've come up now to a full cup with these things. Yeah, that looks good. And that's going to go into the saucepan with the orange habaneros. I keep saying orange habaneros because in Mexico, they always have green habaneros and orange habaneros, but this recipe is really made for orange habaneros. That's why we put that carrot in there. I've got 6 cloves of garlic here that are peeled, cut in half so that they cook quickly with everything else in here. And then our next thing is going to be water and vinegar. The vinegars that you find in Mexico are oftentimes much weaker than what you find in the US. So almost always I will take a Mexican recipe and cut the vinegar by half with water when I'm making it in the US. This is the really good all natural apple cider vinegar. This one has never been pasteurized, so it gives a really vibrant flavor to it. And so I've got a cup of water, and now I'm going to put a cup of vinegar in there. Pour that all over there. This is a measured amount of salt that's going to go into this. We're going to taste it at the end. Yes, we are going to taste it at the end, even though it's going to be very spicy. But this is 2 teaspoons of of salt that are going to go in here. And that'll get us started. I'm working with the Diamond Crystal, which is a much more voluminous salt. But I put my 2 teaspoons to get this started. And then now I'm going to bring it to a boil. So we're going to let this come to a boil, partially covered like I did here, and simmer it for about 10 minutes. What we're looking for is that carrot to be completely tender. And then I'll show you how to finish it. Maybe you have access to some other little hot peppers that are yellow or orangish in color. Well, you could easily use them in exactly the same recipe. I started with 5 ounces of habanero, so you would want 5 ounces of whatever chili it is that you've got your hands on. In the habaneros, that's someplace between 12 and 20, depending on the size that they are, but just weigh them out and then include them in the recipe the way that I did the habaneros, and you'll be fine. Now, back to the recipe. I'm smelling the vinegar fill the kitchen here. Everything is really tender here. I'm going to spoon all of the solids now into the blender jar. And then I'm going to pour all of the liquid in. There's still some of the chilies there. Pour all of that together. Now, when you are working with any kind of hot mixture in your blender, you have to be very careful to take this piece that's in the center of the cap out of here, if I can get it out of here. Okay, there it came out. I always put a towel, or this is like a damp washcloth, over the top. Start on low speed here. Get everything moving through the blades, and then you can raise the speed of the blades to high to make sure everything gets blended completely smooth. Looks very smooth to me, but okay, another warning here. Clearly this is something for spice-loving people, but all of the capsaicin in those chilies is volatile into the air when you are blending it. So all those fumes that are coming out of there would go straight to the back of your throat and make you cough. Let's see if we can make this thing happen here without me having that happen. Okay, so there's the hot mixture, okay? I'm gonna taste it and season it with salt, but we also have to look at it and see the consistency of it. It's looking a little bit too much like a puree and not like a, what I would call hot sauce kind of consistency. So I'm gonna put some more water in it. I also need, I'm just gonna stir that in real quickly. I also need to taste this, and so here's the way I suggest that you taste it. Sort of standard Mexican practice to put it on the back of your hand like that, just a little drop, and then taste it. I'm really loving it. I think it's really good. The salt seems right. Perhaps as a hot sauce, I'd want to put just a little bit more. And I will say that we have sugar here. Sugar will really help to bring out the natural fruitiness of these chilies. So I'm gonna put, sort of like a teaspoon or so of sugar in here. Not enough to make it taste sweet, but just enough to make it, to bring out that fruitiness, which is so dynamic and wonderful in the habanero chilies. So just run it in here. Man, that stuff is so good. Okay, now we are at a place that we're ready to store it. You can go to places or online and buy the kinds of hot sauce bottles. This is really a wonderful gift for people. So I like to put it into bottles that look special. So that's what I'm gonna do here. We have this hot sauce kind of bottle that I can fill with this. Of course, we want to make sure that we now refrigerate this after it is completely cooled down, and we will have a beautiful orangey habanero hot sauce with all of the unique properties of habaneros right there for you for months to come.